Hi y'all, how you doing? Welcome back to the Who's Right podcast. Here with Franklin. Just wanted to welcome everybody. Remember to like, subscribe to the channel. But before we get started, Victor, how you doing?
Doing well, here, bored. Nothing's been going on for us to talk about too much. But you know, we're waiting. I'm anxious, ready for things to drop too. Also, not so happy that my boy Eduardo Rodriguez is going over to Arizona, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about a couple things that happened. Let's start off with Kalenic going to the Braves. You know, it kind of happened right after we got off on Sunday. And so but we didn't get back on to kind of talk about it. But as for me, you know, Kalenic for me hasn't done much. You know, he had one good half season, and I'm not too worried about it. So let's see what he does for the Braves. But I still think we won the trade, the trade, the Robinson Cano trade, getting Edwin Diaz. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, he's not too exciting. It's gonna be a funny story in the off season during the season when we hear Kalenic going up against Edwin Diaz this year because they were the two highlights of that trade. But he doesn't have great numbers. He's what the Braves needed in a left fielder. He's fills that role. They didn't, like I said, I don't think they needed the bat, but they're getting a great defensive player. He's not going to add much offensively. He's got a career average of 204, OBP of 283, and an OPS of 656. So it's not too exciting stuff. It's interesting that they made the trade, but this is just what Atlanta does, right? They make interesting trades that no one would have ever thought about, and so I don't see him adding too much to their roster. I think he's going to play a small role defensively, but they got their man.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely, and we'll see. We'll see where he goes. They got a few years control on him, and so we'll see him for the next few years and see what he does. But then, yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez, your boy, went to Arizona. So where he's not coming east. You know that whole thing about moving his family last year. I guess I'm still a little confused because why not get traded to the Dodgers for a playoff run? But he's with the Diamondbacks, and good team. So I guess it all worked out at the end for him. Just don't understand why you don't allow yourself to get traded last year if you're going to end up in the West Coast anyways this year. But I know you touched on it, but what other thoughts you got on it?
Yeah, I saw some funny comments saying that he doesn't like the Dodgers so much that he went to the Diamondbacks, and so that's what went on here. 4 years, $80 million, which is I think good market price. The um, the Diamondbacks got a good third arm in their rotation to kind of fill out what they have didn't have this past year, and I think he's going to be a good starter for them. It's unfortunate that we didn't pick him up. Uh, it's scary when you see some of these top end starters start to go, and the Mets not make any moves, but the big fish is still out there, and it's what we're. I think that's what we're waiting for at this point. We weren't holding our breath over Eduardo Rodriguez. Or a Jordan Montgomery even. But we're waiting for that big fish to drop to see what we're going to do next year.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so yeah, I'm not too worried about it. And we'll see what happens. There's still quite a few pitchers out there. Obviously, we're still in on Yamamoto. We found out that Cohen and Stearns flew out to Japan to go meet him. And that's to me, especially because honor is a big deal in their culture. That shows a lot of honor. They're honoring their family, and I think that speaks volumes to what Cohen is willing to do to get the guy that he deems that is the right fit for the Mets. He's done it time and time again. He's gone to dinner with a bunch of other players. I remember the first year with Canna, he flew out to go see Canna. So when he thinks it's a right fit for you to be on this club, he's going to do everything that he can to get you. So at this point, we know Cohen's going to give the most money. He's willing to fly out to Japan on his private jet to go talk to him. So if we don't get Yamamoto, it's only because Yamamoto didn't want to come to the Mets at this point, right? Am I wrong? Am I missing something? What do you think?
No, you're right. It's all up to Yamamoto, and it's been up to him the whole time. The only thing that's pulling him away from the Mets is that Yankees pinstripe that he's grown up watching on TV. They've got more accolades than us. But I will say, I have a feeling that this Juan Soto trade could have kind of hurt them in the long run. Not that they're giving up a lot in acquiring Juan Soto, but just to say, like, if you're looking at sustainable winning, I think the Mets on paper are looking like they can provide that more with what they um, almost lack to do and trade away their top prospects. He's a young guy and he's going to be in the league for a while. And if you have a team that's going out to get a guy for a year of control, um, for two or three pitching prospects that are doing well in your pipeline, I don't think that creates a good taste in my mouth if I'm Yamamoto, saying that we're in a win now state. It's basically what it tells me. And if I'm Yamamoto, I want to win a game, World Series on World Series, And I think in terms of this, I think we provide that more.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping that's the same mentality with Yamamoto, that he's not looking at 1 year, and just wanting to win this year. I know that it looks like the Yankees are going for it, and the scenario that we thought was going to play out played out, huh? That Soto's going to the Yankees. They gave up a little bit, not too much. It wasn't the haul that people expected, um, they gave up a couple pitches that they liked, but nothing to write home about. A couple prospects that'll do well, that they think they're going to do well, but again, they're prospects. We'll see. I know King did a little bit, but now we got to see it on a consistent basis, and so the best scenario is that they gave up those guys and they lose Soto next year, whether it be to the Mets or anybody else. But I'm hoping that they lose Soto next year, because Soto's going to go to free agency, and so he's not going to probably sign a contract this year. I'll be stunned if he signs a contract with the Mets before, I mean, with the Yankees before the year ends, because one, he's a Boris client, and two, he's shown that he wants to make the most money, right? So he wants to see what that means, and the only way to do that is to go to the open market.
I mean, he
So
passed up over $400 million from the Nats when before he got traded, and so to think that he would even consider signing this year when he's so close to free agency, yeah, it's probably not going to happen unless he signs a crazy deal, years wise, because I think otherwise he's going to try to test the market and see what that gives him.
absolutely, absolutely. And one thing the Mets did do, they claimed a couple people on the Rule 5 draft, and one that they traded away to Boston. as soon as they got him, it's like we traded away Justin Slayton, who a lot of people were on. I don't know much about him, not a big prospect guy, so I can't speak on. But from what a lot of people were talking about, that was the most coveted guy, or one of the most coveted guys in this Rule 5 draft. But then we traded him off to Boston for a left-handed help for Ryan Ammons. But I don't know, I don't have much to say because I don't follow prospects that well. And so, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, I like what Stearns is doing here. Um, a guy that was dropped in the Rule 5 draft, to pick up a prospect that is going to give you more time to develop. You get to see what kind of player he's going to be in the long run once as he develops in your minor league system. I can't remember when he got drafted, but I want to say it's pretty high. Uh,
It was in the 10th round this year out of Clemson.
Okay, so that's not that high, but but it's still a prospect, and I'd rather take a prospect than someone that's been thrown around the league, that's gotten their opportunity already. And yeah, it's all about that developing a sustained winning, and I think that's what we're doing here. And so I don't hate the move. Amons wasn't going to be our closer. He wasn't even going to be our setup man. And so to let
Oh,
go of this,
you mean Slayton? Slayton. We traded
sorry,
Slayton.
yeah, Slayton. He wasn't going to be. He was going to probably be one of those arms that was fighting for a spot in the bullpen. And so I don't really care that we traded him away. But I am happy that we picked up a prospect because I'm all about picking up prospects.
Yeah, I mean, you trade somebody who may or may not pan out, because if he doesn't pan out, you send him back to Texas, because you can't send him to the minors because he has to stay up for the full year in your major league roster. And if he doesn't pan out, um, you have to give him back to Texas. What happened here is, I agree with you, because what happened here is that we picked him up and we trade him away. So if he doesn't pan out, guess who gives him up? Boston gives him up, not us. And we continue to develop that prospect that you said in Amons, or Ammons. I don't know how you say that, but yeah. So it's a guy that we can keep in our system, and develop him, and see what happens, versus a guy that may or may not pan out this year. So yeah, in that regard, I'm fully on board with it. I really like how you put that, and so yeah, let's see what happens with these guys. But I'm I'm assuming that Yamamoto is waiting for Otani to sign at this point, because he's met with the Mets, and from what I saw somebody post on Twitter, on X, whatever, that Yamamoto's looking for the most money, and if that's the case, he's going to the Mets. If that's the case, but we'll see. When he thinks. But what do you think? When do you think Otani's going to make a decision?
Well, he's getting closer to that decision, right? I mean, Dave Roberts kind of ruined it for the Dodgers a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So we know that they're out, and so that leaves a couple of teams. I know that there were some rumblings about him coming over to the East Coast to go to Atlanta, or maybe even to I think was Boston one of those as well. But we talked about it before. He's staying out west, and they're getting closer to a deal with the Angels. I just know it. They're getting close. They're just in I think what they're doing right now, uh, as in Otani and his agent, is just seeing bidding between two clubs, seeing which one will give him the most money. But ultimately, I think he has his decision made on where he wants to go, and so
Yeah, yeah. Somebody said that, I forget who it was, said it today, that if he wants to go to the Dodgers, why wouldn't he already have gone to the Dodgers at this point? There was no point of waiting until after the meetings to go to the Dodgers because if he that's where he wants to go, they're willing to give him the most money. As far as a West Coast team, um, or not because he wants to go there. And so I'm not sure. I'm agreeing with you that Shohei's kind of pinning the Dodgers against whoever he wants to sign. And the more and more I think about it, I don't think he's going to sign with the Dodgers. Um, I think that's who he's using to for either Anaheim to give him more money or Toronto because he met with Toronto and Florida. Never thought I would hear Toronto's name in the whole thing, but looks like he might want to go to Canada. I don't know. Surprising to me because I thought it was either West Coast because of the whole vicinity to Japan, but he wants to go further north on the East Coast. So I have no idea when it comes to
Yeah, I
Otani.
don't see it. I don't see that happening. All I see from that meeting with the Blue Jays is that he's trying to use them as bait just to get more money out of LA Angels. Um, why would he leave the Angels? He has such a good situation over there, being the face of the franchise, winning 2 MVPs there. Um, and who knows, they could be a winning team in 2025. But probably not this year, but it'll take a couple years. But they could be a winning team soon, and I think he sees that. I think he's just trying to get the most money from them by bidding with these other teams.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Just with Ron Washington being there may have changed the equation for Otani. I don't think he ever wanted to leave Anaheim because like you said it. I think he has the gig that he wants. He has control over when he speaks to the media. He's not a guy that likes the limelight, even though he's the best player in baseball. So, so I kind of agree with you. I think it's leaning. To be honest, I'm with you. That's leaning more and more towards him going to L.A. Angels, back to the L.A. Angels than anybody else. But before we continue on the Yamamoto talk, we signed a player today. We signed another reliever, um, Jorge Lopez. So Jorge was pitching for the Orioles and then got traded to the Twins at the deadline, um, and didn't have a great season. He struggled, but was an All Star in 2022. So yeah, another reliever to add to the mix. That's kind of how you build the bullpen. You add arms until you get a mix that fits, right? And so he might have struggled last year in 2023. But maybe he's one of those guys that 1 year on, 1 year off, and he'll be back to 22 form this year. But yeah, another pitcher that we add to the bullpen. What are your thoughts?
Uh, honestly, I missed this transaction completely, but just looking at his numbers, they're not great. But I think he had one good season uh, with just half of the season. It looks like, and honestly, it's not a bad. Like I said, we need arms, so I don't care who we pick up, as long as they can step on a mound and throw the baseball without giving up home runs. And hopefully, that's this guy. Jorge Lopez has been in the league a while, so hopefully he has that season experience to be able to know how to navigate some of those sticky situations I may be put in this year. But then again, I don't hope that he's put in those situations. I hope that we can get arms that are able to do that instead of him. And I'm talking about some of the guys that we already have. That just need to step up. Um, but if we need as much depth as we can in our bullpen, and so I'll never hate it that we pick up an arm.
Yeah, yeah, because you never know. So I'm with it. Throw them in there, and we'll sort them out in spring training, and see what happens. Sign a couple more arms. Let's check them out. Let's throw them in there and let's get it done. Yeah, back to Yamamoto. What's your confidence level? Are we signing them? Give me a 1 to 10. What do you think we're going to do with Yamamoto?
I'm at a 7.5 right now that we're going to sign him, and the only reason I'm not more confident is because I thought we would have done it by now. You know, it's we're reaching a week since he's started talking to teams here soon, and I know that Cohen went to go talk with them with Dave Stearns. I have some other comments on that I'll share in a little bit, but um, I just think that Yamamoto is just doing the same thing Otani's doing. Is just bidding with teams, trying to see where he's going to get the most money. Ultimately, he's going to come to the Mets. It's just a matter of getting that extra year, getting those extra couple $1 million um, to get him over to the Mets organization. Like I said, the Yankees are out in my book. Um, Picking up Soto might have been like a blessing and a curse for them this year, and so that's where I'm at with Yamamoto. I think he's coming, but there's that 3.35% chance that he or that 25% chance that he goes and goes to the team that he grew up admiring in the Yankees. That's all I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I kind of agree with you. I think he's using the Yankees against us, kind of like Shohei's using the Dodgers against Anaheim, LA Angels, because um, if he wanted to go to the Yankees, why hasn't he signed already, right? If that's the team that he wants to go to, why wait until now? Kind of the same thing with Shohei. Why wait if that's where you want to go? Um, I kind of I'm in the same boat. Obviously, there's no guarantees, right? Where we don't know what's going to happen, but the longer it drags out, it's more about getting more money out of the Mets.
Yeah, and
and
it's so annoying, man, because you've seen this happen year after year with these top free agents waiting until the last second to make sure that they get the most amount of money, even though it's nickels that they're fighting for at this point. Because I think I think that the two organizations already have a number in mind that they're willing to pay for this guy, and they probably already given him that number, and so this point, they're just making the fans wait.
You're probably true. That's probably true. They probably well, you would think they shared numbers already. You would think because they were already met, but maybe they haven't because it's all kind of the process, right? First Zoom, first then in person, and then after he gets done with all the in person stuff, then they're going to start talking numbers. But that's only driving the number up. That's all that's doing. And so, but you said you had some thoughts on Cohen going over to Japan. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before, but it's one of those like I wish Steve Cohen would kind of take a step back and let David Stearns do his own job. And I know in this case it's kind of special because this is Yamamoto and he's going to be an ace on our team and he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be the one of the stars on on the Mets organization. But um it's one of those things is like let David Stearns do his job kind of thing, you know. I understand the honor there that he sees from um that's uh that goes with the culture, but it's it only helps so much. I feel like at some point you kind of get in the way, And with Stearns there, I feel like, or with Cohen there, I feel like you see Cohen and you're just like, all right, this is the guy I want to talk to. This is the one that's going to give me the money that I'm asking for. And so maybe he's like not taking Stearns so serious because Cohen's there. And so that's my thought. That's my only thought on it. I just wish that he would let him do his job. Maybe call in. I don't know. Meet him at a separate time, but send him first, and then come back and say, hey, I had a meeting with him. Uh, he'd like to meet you. Talk to him, and then but let Stearns talk to him first, gauge him out, and do his job a little bit, instead of trying to do Stearns' jobs for him.
You know what? I get where you're coming from, but just get the job done, man. That's all I care about. Bring Yamamoto. I said this a few videos before. The only guy I really care about this offseason is Yamamoto. I don't care how it happens. Bring him to the Mets. Don't care how it happens. Everybody else, Stearns can do it. If we need Cohen to get on the plane and bring Yamamoto in that plane, send them to Japan and bring him over. I don't care. Bring Yamamoto to the Mets.
Hey,
That's
I would say the same thing. But what's Cohen going to say that David Stearns can't communicate with them?
hey,
You know?
whatever it takes. You know what? Who's right? Comment. Let me know. What do you think? Who's right? You know, do you want Stearns to take the whole role, or do you mind if Cohen gets on the plane and brings Yamamoto home? Tell me who's right. Victor, me, give us your opinion. Comment in the comment section and let us know what you think. But I think this video I think short and sweet. There's not much more that we're going to discuss because there's nothing happening. So let's keep it going. We'll see you guys on Sunday. But before we get out of here, Victor, any last words?
No, let's make some moves. Come on, give me something to talk about. Other than that,
Absolutely.
let's go Mets.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go Mets. Let's talk about it and we'll see you on Sunday.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.